Hi everyone, how are you? You good? Yeah? Hey. Okay, so hope you had a good conference. I'm going to try to, unpack this previous cycle and try to project ourselves to what could be next. NFTs, Web3 um, is a movement for sure, but is it an industry? Is it an ecosystem with interdependent players, value created? I don't think so. And today I'd like to propose a path to answer the two questions I think we should all have in mind when building in this space. How can we go mainstream? And how can we touch everyone? So I'd like to propose that we go from hype to purpose and try to redefine the way we use Web3 to onboard the next billion users. So if we step back and zoom out, and despite the ups and downs, there's an underlying pattern in every technology cycle. 2021 was clearly the peak hype. 2022, we clearly faced a reality check. But we're resilient, and we're on a good path to understanding and progress. And when you look at, when you put on this graph the number of active addresses on Ethereum, then you find out that all of this is pretty much going in a very good direction, okay? So we see the potential, okay? The infrastructure has improved, the participation has increased, real life use cases are emerging. We see regulations as well, structuring the landscape, making it clearer to navigate for users, safer also for end users. So we're achieving a greater stability overall, and the trend is clearly up. So this is the big picture I think we need to keep in mind. Now, NFTs have great properties. The question is, are we using them to their full potential? Are we focused enough on trying to solve critical issues and pressing challenges? So I'd like to suggest three directions we, as builders, should consider to increase our reach, focus on issues tokenization can solve in ways that no other technology can. The first element, we call it dematerialization. What can we dematerialize? The second one is deplatforming. How can we regain control on data? And the third one is decoupling. So let's unpack this. I'll start with dematerialization. So as people call it right now, these days, real-world assets tokenization. What current products can NFTs augment? That's pretty much everything, from IP, identities, credentials, proof of purchase, proof of belonging, art, to even real estate. So why dematerialize? By tokenizing the ownership of an item, we turn it into a native component of the internet with its own digital presence, which natively lives on the network. Identity management. How can we tokenize, vehicle registration, educational credentials, tokenized credentials? You can go on and on with all these proofs and real-life things that can benefit from a clear existence on the network. Diplomas would be so great to have the possibility just to prove that you've achieved something, that you have a certification, just by a simple verification. Signing an identity. Consumer goods. Today, we juggle, with all types of documents in bulky, vulnerable folders. Client accounts don't record activities after the first purchase, such as maintenance or resale. And when there's a proof given to you, it's only recognizable by the brand who sold. So with an NFT as a maintenance booklet, for example, we can dematerialize all documents and record everything within one trusty passport providing a verifiable history and enriching brand services. Real estate. NFTs can ensure compliance with sustainability regulation that are growing faster and faster, mainly in Europe. They keep everything transparent by digitally tracking materials, energy usage, emissions. They represent energy credits. So this means developers can either offset their carbon footprint or capitalize on surplus energy. So applications of real-world asset tokenization go on, but in a nutshell, tokens are making things more efficient and transparent with a higher liquidity. Deplatforming now. So last year I came here and I gave a keynote with a title that was "The Era of Self-Owned Data." And I think the topic is more current than ever. You know, platforms are eating the world. This once open internet is now dominated by few giants who set the rules for how we do business and how we interact online. So in a time where the data is king, tokenization and data ownership have the potential to liberate users and brands from centralization, returning data to data owners, redistributing value to the value drivers, empowering users over big tech interest. I'm sure you guys already know Lens and Forecaster, protocols, you know, focusing on creating decentralized social graphs in which you completely own your followers, your profile, your connection, your post, your data. So that will give us a world in which we can easily switch platform, just taking our network with us. And if we don't like the algorithm, we just move on and go to a place where you know, the rules are better or more in line with our values. So what does that data ownership means? So for users, it means we no longer have to sign off our data to the black box of centralized platforms. We own our data and can choose to share it at will. For the creators' economy, obviously, it guarantees a fair value distribution between creators, communities, and the builders. For brands, owning their data will become critical. When brands own their social graph, they can connect to their customers without relying on big tech. You see a couple of the brands we work with at Ariani, and I'll talk about it maybe later if I have time. So NFTs can bring this paradigm change in the way brands will manage customer data. Instead of collecting or renting data, brands should start working on distributing it. So obviously the end of the hype, the lack of equipment of final users, the immaturity of Web3 apps for everyday use cases are making this challenging. But the potential impact is tremendous. You know, what is the cost today of collecting, storing, securing, renting data? What will be the impact of this increased dependence in the long run with the rise of AI? So being able to engage directly with users because they own a product, for example, and no matter where or how they got it, will reduce acquisition costs and repeat purchase costs. So in a world where digital marketing costs are skyrocketing, having data is critical, but owning it is neither sustainable nor efficient. The only durable solution is really to put data back in the hand of users. So I see, yeah, I'm gonna need 2 minutes more. Okay, I'll be quick. So the last one is decoupling. I'll go fast on decoupling. Decoupling is gonna be absolutely necessary. The only way to control climate change is to produce less. But there's no way we're gonna grow less. There's no way we're gonna make less money. Decoupling first-hand production from growth. Remember when royalties were enforced. You would just have to create a collection, and then you would make money based on the trading. Imagine if that could be for everything that you own. Imagine if brands could make money out of what happens after the purchase. Imagine if you could receive an offer in the morning, like in the good old times of NFTs, for something that you have in your wallet, but like for something that you have in your closet, and you just can accept it in one click for a watch, a pair of sneakers. You know, people just own 20% of what they buy, or for a bottle of wine. And then obviously compliance is going to push more and more to this item level identification. So all of that is coming pretty fast. There's one industry that you should follow that already embraced that. It's the watch industry. By the end of this year, we will tokenize at Ariani 35% of all premium watches produced with brands like Breitling, Jaeger-LeCoultre, Panerai, and many others. All of that will create a great ecosystem where platforms will be easier to use and safer as well for users. So, in a nutshell, this new world of post-purchase features, data control, in which you use the properties of NFTs to dematerialize what can and should be, where you use NFTs to help people and brands regain control on their data, contributing to deplatform the internet, and finally create the conditions for a circular economy to emerge, to decouple growth from first-hand production, is really what us as builders should all have in mind. So I'm Pierre-Nicolas Hurstel, I'm the CEO of Ariani. You should check out our website, ariani.org, and our open source protocol, powered by the ARIA20 token. We work with an amazing set of brands, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you
Have a good one.
Sharing with us. Appreciate it.